Welcome to God Bless America. Couldn't be excited to be here for another episode.
Welcome back. Just want to remind you to like the video, follow us on Instagram, X, TikTok, like our videos, follow us. We really appreciate all the help.
Thank you, Sam. Couldn't be more happier than to have Grumpy J Foreman here for yet another episode.
Man.
No, you're cheerful now. But part of that is because we have God Bless America swag going. Thank you, Peg Swag.
You swagged out to the max.
Totally swag.
Looks great.
Jay and I are having a little Boonahaven scotch. Sledge, you're having 4 Roses bourbon. We have a lot to talk about. It takes a cocktail. It's been a long day. Jay, welcome. What's new?
Not much. It's same old soup, just reheated.
Come on.
There's nothing new. I just make the old and maybe spice it up a little bit.
Now, just for the record, there are certain things we're not allowed to talk about because we don't need you in the hotel room.
Right.
And we don't need you and me in the doghouse, and we don't need Sam in trouble with his mother.
I am able to get in the Casa de Powwow quite well on my own, man. I don't need any help from you or Jay or Ginger or anybody.
No.
I'm capable.
It's funny how that works.
I am.
I don't even know how it got started, other than I'm on the phone with our mutual friend on the way out here, and he's like, hey, hang on. I'm like,
JP?
Yeah. He's like, don't call Jay. I'm like, no, just hang on. I'm like, no, don't call Jay. Sure enough, there's Jay. And I love it because he answers, Peters, what are you doing? Followed by, and he, of course, makes some lippy comment. You doing that NBA show again? He's like, yeah. And he's trying to pimp Jay into making some derogatory comment about
the show,
all the Lord's work.
All the hard
We're
work.
doing the Lord's work here on God Bless America.
Why would he do that?
Well, the best part
That's Peters.
That's Peters. But Jay saw through it, so I had to chime in there. Yeah, Peters, leave it alone. Well, then he starts talking about all this other stuff we're not allowed to talk about. And it's like, he is just
so it begs the question, who really is grumpy?
It's Peters.
It's Peters.
Okay, there we go. We have that solved, don't we?
Is Peters projecting.
Isn't that my God, called? That's exactly right.
He has an aura of I don't want to say negativity. He just isn't positive all the time.
My favorite. Oh my God. That's one of his classes.
Yeah.
You've seen it?
Yeah.
I think I've seen it when he was on our episode.
You did it when he was doing our episode. He got nervous, and then, it got weird.
Yeah.
My point, he's a great guy, but he is a hoarder. So we're going to leave it at that. We're going to move on.
We're going to move on.
Jay doesn't want to talk about it. Jay's been a victim of the hoarding. But the other thing before we leave this, there's a reason we do not have a call-in, and Jay Foreman smartly avoided that after an incident at JP's garage when they sent him out into the world.
Yeah, after the garage. Yeah,
after the garage, Jay's trying to do his radio show, and here comes the call-in. Jay smartly
hit a red button.
I see the number, and that was blocked.
Yeah.
Not taking that call.
Yeah, but the best part is he tried to call from Tony Miller's number and Cole Moranville. They all three got the button.
They deserve the button.
No, they shouldn't.
That red button is code for the middle finger in their general direction.
Are you still doing your radio show?
I am.
Tell us about
Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 at 93.7 The Ticket. And then after games, I do after game show.
Good.
So it kind of depends on.
So how's it gone this year compared to last year? I think you did last year. I mean, as far as the sentiment, the callers, the questions, the feeling.
Yeah, it's a little bit of both, but I think this year, they had a lot of expectations. Obviously, a lot of off-season hype, and then as soon as you stub your toe against Michigan, the world ends, and you start to rehab them a little bit, and now everything is everything's good.
The players, the fans,
the fans.
Yeah. Or everybody.
I would tell you, I learned fans are short for fanatics, and I understand it. They were waiting to see, and I think the fans sometimes, and it's not. I love the fans. I mean, I understand it. They're getting paid and all this. If you would ask the majority of the fans before the season, at this point, if Nebraska was 6-2, would you be happy? They would say yes.
Okay.
And so the good part is, hopefully we've graduated to where they're worried about how it looks aesthetically, right? How you win and all that. So that's the next step in the process to, remedy some of that.
So on this subject, this is kind of changing gears a little bit, but what would you say you observed from when you played in the tradition that was in place there and well-established, profound tradition? How do you see the locker room and the respect for the tradition today compared to when you were there?
Well, I think one thing I'll say is, from my experience, I think Coach Rule's done a good job of, respecting it and mentioning it, making it very easy for guys to come back around. So I think that's a breath of fresh air. If you remember, shortly after I left and I was in the NFL, you know, we couldn't come back when Bill Callahan was here, you know, and everything was
terrible.
out of the stadium and out of the, you know, practice facility. So, you know, I think it's good. I think these guys are obviously very, very young. So, you know, when you tell them that you're good, that they're looking at you like there's no way you used to play. And so you just try to really, what I would always try to do when I talk to the players is put myself in their shoes, but just try to say, hey, look, this is part of the process. You got to think, you know, we versus me. And if you win enough games, all the individual stuff will come back to you.
Yeah.
And sometimes 10 times more. I always tell people about the New England Patriots. If you think of like a Willie McGinnis or Vrabel, those guys, like they're not like Terrell Suggs or anybody like that as far as stat wise, but in the history of football, because they won so many games, play well in playoffs, associated with the Patriots. You know, Willie McGinnis is probably potentially, you know, the best playoff pass rusher ever. And Vrabel, obviously look at him as a coach, and Teddy Bruschi, I mean, he was a stud. But look how much they're looked at versus, you know, a guy that should be in the Hall of Fame like London Fletcher, who, to be honest with you, when he was on his game, there was nobody better than London Fletcher. I'm talking about when he played, as far as production and big plays and stuff like that.
Love it. So on that topic, you're throwing out huge names, profound success. What would you say was, if any, distinction in leadership from when you were in the locker room compared to what you see now?
Well, when I got here, it was already, I think they went through the bump in like 91, 92, because they lost at Iowa State 92.
Yeah.
And I think I remember hearing stories that it drastically changed of the we over me. I think in college football changed. It's kind of like where Jordan and those guys changed from scoring leaders to championship winners. And so when I got here, it was like I saw Dwayne Harris, I saw Dante Jones, Troy Dumas, those guys, the way they worked and how they were very selfless, but, you know, held each other accountable. And
selfish, what do you
or
mean?
Selfless.
Selfless.
Yeah,
Selfless.
Yeah, selfless. So you know, I think it was rinse and repeat, but it taught you a lot, man. I mean, I didn't know anything much about Nebraska when I got here. Clint Brown, who people don't really know, he was the backup to Troy Dumas. Was a senior. He taught me everything. He took me underneath his wing because he was a backup to the starter, Troy Dumas, who went on to play for the Chiefs. And I think he fast-tracked me on what it meant to be a Nebraska player, what it meant to be a black shirt, what it was like to work. And then it allowed me to step out there, you know, very early in my career and be successful. But then everybody was, it had that healthy fear. Yeah, I was, you know, Coach McBride was, I mean, he was a badass. Yeah, he would tune you up. I was more fearful of walking in the training table and anybody seeing me and be like, he let us down. I can't trust him.
So that means you were accountable to your team.
You're accountable to your team.
So you mentioned hard work, and I think that's a common denominator between any endeavor, right? Any profession, whether it be football or anything. So we hear and we read, and I think I'm of the age that you hear about entitlement with these young athletes. So completely different time than when you played with regards to Twitter and YouTube and all those things. So is the accountability and the hard work there with today's young athletes as it is with your generation and what you came into?
I think it's a little different because I'll say this. I mean, kids that are coming into college from high school, you say he's a 3 to 5 star athlete, definitely 5-star. I would bet they probably have done more interviews, had their picture taken, probably patted on the back more than me, than playing 4 years or 5 years at Nebraska, 4 years as a player, you know, playing and starting for 4 years, and then 9 years in the NFL. I'd be willing to bet that.
So their PR skills are better.
Well,
than
they're just
exposure.
they're anointed probably from 6th grade, probably even earlier. So their whole perception is different. But I think, guys, what the kids these days miss the difference between working hard and then doing more than what's required. That's where we made the ground. Yeah. Like when we played. Yeah. So here's the thing people don't understand. When you go to practice and say you're my linebacker coach, you're the head coach, you guys will get together and can devise a practice plan to make sure we work hard. Heck, we could just go run all day. So we worked hard. Right?
Yeah.
Are you invested? Is your intention right? And then what do you do when nobody's watching? What we did when nobody was watching was what made us dominant. And up until this Bama last run, this, you know, it hadn't been replicated.
So does this have to do with NIL? Like, because I was looking at Twitter, and Trey Taylor's committed to Nebraska. He was like put out there that he wanted to go to the football game on Saturday, but he has a high school game like on Saturday morning, and like he like was looking for a way to get a private jet to go to our game on Saturday, and like I saw that he is going to be there.
So somebody bid on it.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. So like, do you think that just like this whole we over me thing? I mean, the NIL doesn't help. Things like that.
No, you know, you guys know this, right? I hate to say it because they're so young. I mean, heck, we were getting $300 scholarship. We were scrubbing, you know, dollars together. So you never know how you would react to having that type of access. Heck, being on a private jet at 17, 18 years old. It does change it some. But I do think, you know, when you guys seen guys that are successful, I think it generally shows you kind of like who you really are or whatever. But I think the NIL, there with no like parameters is the problem. Kids should get paid.
Right.
College athletes should get paid. But it's like you went out there and just free reined it. Now you don't even know how to rein it back in.
Yeah.
And so this is the byproduct of it, where, you know, where is the appreciation of, say, like when I came in, like we won a couple national championships, people start calling you, you're going to stay, you know, here at Nebraska, or are you going to go chase the extra $10,000 at, I don't know, whatever, Kansas State, where they tell you, you know, you're going to be the best and you're still the same player that you were at Nebraska. So I think that changes it a little bit. At times there's guys that are making more than their position coaches. So you got to make sure I mean, right? You think about it, right?
That's got to make it so
then
hard.
You got to make sure the structure is there and that accountability. I do think some of the new rules, where it's somewhat of a contract that can get guys in line, but more. One thing I do not like is, and you saw this in the NFL, where they had to do the rookie cap, where guys that are coming out of high school, and this is not knocking any guys, because I'm gonna tell you what, Jeremiah Smith for Ohio State has been the best player. He's been the best player for 3 years.
Yeah, he's unreal.
But I do think there needs to be some sort of rookie cap, and then once you
from
high school to college,
From high school to college.
Yeah,
that makes
because
sense.
if you're, you know, because where everybody looks at Ohio State, the money that they spent, well, you were retaining great players. You went and got Caleb Downs, who went to Alabama, was an All-American,
and brought him up.
It's
there,
incredible. But he was proven at that level.
So I got to ask, I'm going to pivot a little bit here, and I think I'm going to make an observation about our special teams. And our special teams over the last number of years haven't been very good. Right.
Yeah,
so
special.
Been bad.
What's that?
They haven't been
special.
They've
been very
special.
average.
They've been special needs.
And that, to a casual fan, you look at a lot of different things, but I look at field position and lost opportunities. And, you know, not catching the ball, not catching the punt, blah, 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 blah. A lot of things go into it. So you bring one new coach in and you have a really drastic turnaround with basically the same players we had last year. Maybe some different people that got in there and used some starters and really gave them a reason why it's important. How much does position coaching matter in big time college football?
I think it's the backbone. I mean,
yeah.
Well, it's because
so you have a great athlete, you know, 4 and 5 star like you described, and then the development and the coaching. So that's the separator.
Well, here's the biggest separator is the athlete.
Yes, like the Jimmy's and the Joe.
The guy, but what the guy wants though. Right? Okay. There's a lot of great. I'm gonna tell you,
desire.
Right. There's a lot of guys. I will tell you, there's guys that are way better than athletes than me, but I wanted it more. You need the blueprint, right? You need the coach that's invested in the player. You need the reps. You need really the most important is the weight coach. So you're kind of making it for whoever it is. But then that player has to apply it and then reapply it and then make it his own and then run with it, because everybody looks at development like you're recreating the wheel. It's football. You know, it's running, blocking, and tackling. It's not going to change. Yeah, you could do all the fancy plays and put names on it, But the guys that really want it really love football. Football is not a sport you can like.
It's a gladiator sport.
Gladiatorial sport.
Well, you practice 95% of the time.
Right.
You play
Yeah.
5%.
Right.
Like, look at the baseball World Series game last night. They played 2 games last night.
Yeah.
18
That was
innings.
Yeah.
And
That was
so
insane.
they play 182 a year or
Yeah,
162.
162.
So you're like, all right, if, I go 0 for 4 here, go 1 for 3 here. Okay, I go 4 for 4. It'll kind of work itself. Football,
They play to averages.
yeah, right. Football is 12 times a year. So if you average it out through a year, you get one time a month that you prepare for it.
And the way it goes, you get 60 plays, right? You get
Yeah,
60
if you're lucky.
opportunities
Yeah.
if you're lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get to stay on the field
The whole
every
time,
The
right.
whole time,
Yeah, right.
And it's probably in this day and age, that's very rare,
Right.
Yeah. Except for a quarterback or
Yeah, if you're, if you're that guy, like Dylan's going to play the whole,
Right.
the whole
he can
game.
play 60 snaps.
But yeah, and then that brings back to Sam's point, that NIL and bringing in these freshmen. Part of the development now with the 4 games is you got to play them. So heck, when we played, we were beating teams so bad, so Coach Osborne would put the backups in. These guys, where if you have 60 plays, you'll play probably 40, but it'll be spaced out the other 20. And so you got to work while you wait. And I think that's the biggest separator, the guys that are willing to work and really be invested in football. It's a hard sport, man. It's tough.
Yeah. So
go ahead.
okay. So like there's NIL, there's coaching. Those are big, huge factors in how well you're going to perform. So like Ohio State, they have the money. They also have the coaches. Nebraska, I mean, we have a good coach. We have Matt Rule. I mean, we have money. So what makes us? Yeah, we have the facilities.
Yeah.
What do you think makes us just not at that level yet?
Well, I think Ohio State's had continuity.
Mm-hmm.
Gene Smith just kind of retired. He's still there, so he's not even gone. I mean, they got a new athletic director, but big dog's still there. And then you went from Urban to Ryan Day. There's continuity. It's a winning tradition where we've kind of turned over ADs and coaches at the wrong time. I think, we switched from all the way back. Okay, you let go of Frank. Okay, and you totally switch your identity to Bill Cowher. And this is not to bring back like bad memories, but college football changed like the same time where they started to put it on different networks. So then guys that would usually maybe come here and wait, you could go and still be on TV at other schools. And so, I think they're trying to get back to it. I think they're working. They're showing that they're getting an improvement. It was a little, obviously, I think Troy and Matt will be here for a while, so I think it's going to be an uptick. But I think also people just think you just throw a whole bunch of money out there and then you're going to buy a team. You still have to build like that team atmosphere because if you don't believe it, just look at LSU. They went out and spent a whole bunch of money, and they were just kind of like, "Hey, you're a defensive end, you're a linebacker. We think you're good." Probably didn't do a lot of research on the guys, and then so you had a bunch of individuals out there playing. In the ultimate team sport, and the bottom fell out. Right.
Although I will say, to go out and get my ass fired and get paid $50 million, I'd sign up.
That might be the best hustle out.
I had a major college coach tell me, a good friend of mine, he said, you got to find the right job you get fired from.
Yeah.
Is that
you always get hired? I mean, Jerry Burns, who was Minnesota Vikings coach, and obviously Bud Grant coached my dad. So I talked to him all the time, or did obviously when he's still alive, and he was like, "Man, when you're a coach, you're hired to get fired." It's everybody that pats you on the back on the parade to come in town. They'll be the ones that are kind of
kicking you
out the door. So you're never going to win all your games. You're never going to make everybody happy. Heck, sometimes you can win too much, and then be like, "Well, what happened?" And then so
how do you vet that desire that you spoke of? And when I say vet it, so we're kind of in a free agency world in college football.
It's wild west.
It is. And so we're taking in, Nebraska probably took in 15, 20 new players this year from other colleges and stuff. And they might have credentials that they were all this or all that, and they were 5-star and they played a lot of snaps, yada, yada, yada. But the intangible in football is, you're right, it's hard. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's not easy. And that desire, how do you measure that when you're trying to get these guys?
It's all a crapshoot. I mean, there's some guys, like Caleb Downs, like I know his dad. He's just a dude. But that's a no-brainer. That's just like, you can just blindly just do that. Everybody else, you just never know. You never know what guys, how they react to competition.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you this.
And pressure.
Yeah. And it's not something that you can like you just deal with early. Like you got to learn how to like, it's like at the end of the basketball game. Do you want to be the guy making a shot,
or
you just want to be out there?
Yeah,
Mhm.
you want the ball in your hand.
Yeah, right. And you got to kind of like graduate to that,
Right.
But all the things outside of that really make you fast track that. And you just, I think you don't know until you get them here. I think you see guys, you make the best decision possible, and then they might be good in Kansas, but until you get to Lincoln and Lancaster County, that's all that matters. You're getting a little bit of a head start, but not much.
Hey, Matt, you can appreciate this. Here's what I wonder about. So the percentage of the percent. I'm doing my part.
I'm answering questions.
Yeah, he's got talk.
We're cutting you a break, Jay.
The percentage of guys in major college sports, obviously football, that go on the NFL is pretty.
It's the same number.
Right?
It's the same number.
It's pretty. It's not. What is that number?
Well, it's like. Well, I know that 6% go from high school to college at any level.
Okay.
So I think to go from college to NFL, it's like 3% or 1%.
Okay,
Maybe.
so
It might even be less than
of
that.
all the rosters of the 132 schools and around NC2A Division I,
1%.
So let's say a couple of percent. A lot of these kids are getting big money.
Yeah,
paid.
right now. Yeah.
So my curious thing is when these young people are 24, 25, 26 years old and they've made this much money, what's their expectation? Trust me, when they go to the real world, Matt and I have been in business, ran businesses, operated businesses, and probably paying that kind of money isn't realistic.
Right.
No.
Not for when they're first getting started.
No, not when they're first getting started.
Yeah.
So what's their expectation? How are they managing that money? What's that going to look like in
Listen
5
to
years?
him,
I mean,
Charlie.
seriously.
I could only imagine some of the conversations that they're going to have, because really it's more financially fruitful to stay in college as long as possible.
No shit.
Right.
Really,
Excuse me.
And so now
Censor.
you get out there and you got to go for a job unless you have a business, and sure, you're set up financially and you're 10 steps ahead, but you got to go, say you want to go get a job.
Well, you got to manage the money.
You got to manage
Plus,
the
you got
money.
to get the job.
You got to get the job, and if you're used to, just think if you are just an average player, this is the only average. And average to me is not very good, but just say you're average, right? I call them key card guys. You don't get in trouble, put your key card in, and it automatically works. You get your grades and all that. Just say they're getting for 5 years like $75,000 a year.
Just an average
That's
player.
$300,000. That's $300,000, right?
Yeah.
And if I got that
Or
much
40.
money,
370.
Oh, so then you take taxes. So you're at like what, 150 taxes? Okay,
Yeah,
whatever.
probably. So you're getting 200.
Maybe
You got
you're net
200,000
Okay.
grand a year.
Okay, and then say you
in your
spend,
checking account.
and that's outside of scholarship. So that's so your monthly nut is covered. Just imagine them going in and used to getting like overpaid like that. Like, hey, I'm just starting out. No work experience.
Don't know what I'm doing.
Don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'll settle for 100,000. I would probably just like to be in some of those things. But I will tell you this: the best advice I could give people is one of the things I learned from one of my best friends, Jamal Lewis, out there after I retired. And we were talking, and it sucked because when I retired, it was during the 2008,
financial
so
meltdown.
you really couldn't really go out there and interview for a job. And so once it kind of started lighting up, he's like, Jay, you just need to, he's like, would you go play? Because the NFL, the way they did the contracts, if you were a tenured veteran, you kind of got pushed out just because you could play 3 people for 1. So he's like, if you could, would you go play for rookie minimum and beat somebody out? And I was like, heck yeah. He was like, well, that's the mindset you need to have when you go
Get a job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So what was your first job when you left the Bills?
I retired. I was with San Francisco. So
Excuse me.
7 good years. I would say 2 crappy ones, and got bounced around.
So you went Buffalo, Houston, then San Francisco.
No, New York. Quit New York. Oh yeah.
14 years.
Here's where I knew. You want to hear something funny? This is what I
Lay it
knew.
on me.
This is when I knew kind of knew the end was near. 7. I will tell you this: the first 7 years, first of all, I only wanted to get vested. And this is when you had to really get vested,
Right.
where you had to be on an active roster for 6 games for 4 years. These guys, you could be on. I'm not hating, so let's just get that out there. They can be on a practice squad. Heck, you can get 9-year vets on practice squad. Like once past year 2, when I played, you couldn't be on the practice squad. So it's either you make it,
You either make it or you're out.
or
Really?
you're out of the league. Like
When did that change?
It changed when they redid the CBA, right, in
like
2010.
agreement.
Right.
So was that the players' union changing that?
It was like the
Negotiation
owners
with the
and the
owners.
players,
Yeah.
right? So it made
Wow.
it easier. So, you know, so then I,
Swim
7
around.
years, and I got hurt pretty bad. I got hurt at the wrong time. I got hurt at the end of the season. So and then I was like, all right, I want to try to get more years vested. But when I got to New York, this is funny as heck.
The Giants or the Jets?
The Giants. It never goes
So
to the Jets.
you left the Bills, went to the Giants.
I went 4 years in Buffalo, got traded, did the worst thing possible you could do in corporate America. I gave the GM the business. That's the only time I ever got out of character.
At where? What team?
Because I felt like
Buffalo?
he disrespected me, and disrespect is only I shouldn't have been like that. But I don't like surprises. I was at practice, and they traded me while I was at
Who was
practice.
your coach?
Greg Williams.
Okay.
Now, me and Greg mended fences, but I didn't like it. I was like, man, you could have traded me in the morning when you saw me here at 5:30 waking up.
Yeah.
In the middle of practice.
Right. But it was fine.
I don't
got
blame
banned from the league.
It was fine. But I'll ride for Greg. So then I go to Houston and play good and get hurt, and then I get picked up in New York. It was funny. I always say I showed up with a couple pairs of drawers and a toothbrush because I was at my grandma's house in DC, and they called me, and I tried out for him before, was there, seeing her, and so I get there. And I'll tell you, New York Giants were great. I mean, first class.
Good organization.
Phenomenal, at least when I was there. And I was kind of wished I was there when I was in my prime.
Did you live in New York or New Jersey?
I lived in New Jersey. They got me a place at the Marriott.
Huh.
It was just a hotel room.
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
it was
but
a
it was
hotel
great,
room, but-
right? And they picked me up, took me or whatever.
Wow.
And I got there, and I got there late. They take me in there, and they give you your locker, and they they order all your shoes based on where you're at. So the next morning, I come in there to practice. And so I get a ride. So I'm just all worried to make sure I'm on time. Tom Coughlin's the coach. If the meeting started at 9, you want to be there at 8:45, right? So I see this big dude in this black trench coat, sitting there with I thought my locker, and they had some linebacker injuries, and so I was on the very first locker when you walk in. And I go in there, and it's freaking Lawrence Taylor. So I'm like, I'm thinking like, shit, like what, like I know I'm only here for like 8 weeks. Like, what do you do? And he was like, what's up, young blood? This, and I was like, hey, how you doing, Mr. Taylor? He's like, welcome to the Giants, right? And that was it. We kind of like just talked a little bit. Well, then I was like, why would he be sitting in my locker? I mean, he can go wherever he wants. Well, then I was going to get my extra pair of shoes because we were going to either play outside or under the turf. And I open up the clothes back there. It's Lawrence Taylor's locker, and it's a picture of him in glass. And I was like,
that was your locker?
Yeah, it's just my luck. And then the second thing is they had so many injuries at linebacker. I was number 96. I was like, yeah, I'm about to be out the league pretty soon. Hey, when you're a linebacker, they can start giving you them 90
nine
number. Yeah,
That's code for out.
Yeah, you made me out. Then luckily, I was able to double back up with San Francisco. So then I, retired, and I was back in Minnesota seeing my dad. And then there's actually a local company here in Lincoln called Midwest Holding out there by Home Plate.
Yeah, by Home
They were looking. They were wanting to connect with my dad, and I was kind of a little funky. He's like, man, just come down, for this lunch or whatever. And I was like, man, I don't need to do that, right? I was like, just wanted to be alone, right? He's like, look, come with me. So I came with him, and they kind of just talked a little bit, and I started out working for him, worked just started in grunt work, and that's when I talked to Jamal. Started in grunt work and worked my way up, and then one thing led to another, and ended up being just like my NFL career. Ended up doing pretty well. And then after that, the big thing is, the NFL had this program where they'd help you get into media.
Okay.
Got denied 4 times.
So when you need
wait, Slaves, hang on. This is a great story. You got to tell Slaves the story.
So they had first of all, you remember Craig James?
Pony.
So he had his own broadcast boot camp, but then it ended and he was doing other stuff or whatever. And so it was right about that time where social media started to blow up, and then more networks, like ESPN, ESPN2.
Yeah.
So the NFL would have these broadcast boot camps at NFL Films and try, kind of teach you like the do's and don'ts, and kind of then it would be like internships where you could go, and then guys started really their careers. But I wasn't a backup quarterback, wasn't a retired lineman, and I had been out of the league at that time, so I kept applying. But the more backup quarterbacks that retired, they
got
rightfully
first
so,
dibs.
or quarterbacks. So I got denied 4 times. 4 times. So I was like, I'm not. This is not. I can't.
This
go
isn't
out
for
like
me.
that. But then I got into one at Bowling Green, and it was a journalism NFL broadcast boot camp. Went there, learned how to kind of write, do some podcasts, and do some voiceovers, and then that was how I got into it. So I took that and worked for Comcast Sportsnet in Houston, and so then I was doing stuff for 1628 in Omaha, because nobody in Lincoln at the time, actually 93.7 The Ticket, didn't want any former players. So I was leaving here, Nebraska, flying down there for two seasons.
Really?
And working from
Houston?
Yeah, down to Houston from Thursday to Sunday, and I come back either Sunday night and Monday.
Tell Slags the story of your first on there.
Oh, it's like
Were you spectacular?
Was he ever? Yes.
And I'm going to tell you, here's the great thing about it. I'm a football player, but the guy that helped me out the most is the guy who used to play basketball with. His name is Corey Hepler. He is from a small town in Minnesota. We played, we used to play in semi-pro together.
Okay.
And he was in college at the time, so I was just trying to stay in shape. So he kind of knew what I was trying to do, and he was in Houston. So we just connected or whatever when I was down there, and he's like, I got on Comcast Sportsnet. And so, he, hey,
great
man,
story.
I can't believe it. And Corey's my boy, man. So, you don't want to go on there. I all got my suit on, got the little makeup on. So, you
did not wear makeup.
Well, they give you makeup. It's not much. Come on, man. Look at this. I think I need makeup.
That's my point. Why don't you wear makeup?
No.
Hey, man, you
Do
gotta
we
do
need
what's
makeup,
up.
man?
We need makeup.
They make you
Sam,
do
Sam,
it.
I better get on that. I need to get on that.
Get on that.
They needed the contrast. You know what I mean? So, anyways, I'm drinking water all day and going over my notes. Because they give you kind of what you're doing.
Sure.
And there's 4 of us up there, and so I'm sitting in number 3 seat. So that'd be here.
Kind of like here. If we had a fourth
so it
seat.
goes 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
I'm 3.
Yeah.
Corey's here, the setup man. He's the guy, and he's like, "I'm coming to you after this." And I turned. He's like, "Jay, what do you think?" I turned to him, and I tell you, I sprayed him just with no, it was just mist, because it was listen, it was just because I was just waiting, and it was just here, and it wasn't spit, but I came and said something, and then you gotta stay in the moment, and all my mouth. I apologized to him, and he was a vet, man.
So you had the play-by-play guy, and you had 2 color guys.
It was me, Corey
Let's not be
Hepler.
racist.
It was me, Corey Hepler, and James Palmer, who's on NFL Network all the time. He lives in actually Colorado, and Indy Kalu, and it would kind of just depend on what. And so it was like 2 former players, 2 real media guys. It was great. We'd work. That was when they did Pac-12 at night, so we'd be there till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and then I would do the Houston game, and on Sunday, and then I would come home.
Okay.
And then Comcast Sportsnet I think they got bought by somebody, and then then I was here kind of doing my own thing a little bit because they weren't hiring anybody or whatever. If that, a little bit, more golfing than anything.
Jason,
and then I got a DM from this guy Derek Pearson, and I was like, "Who the heck?"
Yeah,
is that?
he owns a ticket, right?
I don't know.
He owns a ticket.
He owns a ticket.
And I didn't know who he was except for it was the winter time, and he would be on Twitter just walking around and say, "Hey, he just moved to Lincoln." Like, who was this dude? I was on the ticket, a couple times, and then went on to be a couple more times a week, and then the rest is history.
How long ago was that? When did you start at the ticket?
I had to be give or take 5 years ago.
One of my golfing buddies is Tom Stevens.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was those 2.
Yeah, it was. Yep. They had the sports show.
Yeah, and Tom's
You met Tom.
Oh yeah, I know Tom.
And Tom's great, and Tom's helped me
Couldn't
out
be
a
a
lot.
nicer guy.
And he's helped me out a lot, and so I enjoy it. Keeps me close enough to the sport. I don't have to coach. I enjoy I like sports, so
I don't have to coach. So we've talked a lot, but you help out with the Huskers. You do a ton of stuff. But the term "I don't have to
coach." Yeah, I don't.
What does that mean? Why would you?
I would love to coach. Here's the deal. I think for former players, it's easier now for former players to get started. It's still very hard, and you got to kind of like teeter-totter around it because, look, you don't necessarily, want to, a lot of coaches want to mark their territory, so you always want to be respectful. I help out with like the former players come to practice, so I don't coach at all.
Oh.
But when I watch, I like football. I love football. I think the things that football teaches you is better, is more important, or as important as the game.
Oh, hands down. Which is why we're talking about leadership.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's the best sport out there. I'm biased, obviously, but then obviously I think I could give back some as well. And I don't, I think if I ever got into it, I would be willing to support somebody.
Did you do this last year? Did you coach for Nebraska or help last year?
I never coached for Nebraska. I just help out with
just you.
Players.
Okay.
So what I help is I just help. I think over the time, starting with Billy C. Let's give him a nickname.
Billy C.
I think the relationship with the former players got damaged a little bit, and I think Trev and obviously Troy and Haven and obviously Coach Rule is done it. So I'm just helping out a little bit with that.
Nice.
So hang on a second. So your dad taught you a lot of lessons. You talked about him last time you were on. What lessons have you learned in your life? What do you apply to your kids? Being a coach.
It's tough. Yeah, it's tough, man.
And tough.
My grandfather was a big influence on me. He was military, and so he was always just, look, man, earn the respect, take it if you have to, love your family, like no other. Always try to be as nice as possible to everybody, and
even if you're grumpy once in a while.
Yeah, even if you're grumpy. I think people think that I'm grumpy. I just got a ton of shit on my head.
What?
You know what I mean? And I'm always thinking and stuff. And so my grandfather and my dad told me, look, when I got here, he's like, listen, there's gonna be guys from California and Texas. They think they played in semi-pro football in high school. He said, all you have to do is have competitive staying power. That's it.
Competitive staying power.
That means you got to stay in the fight.
Right. He
said it's not going to be easy. It's always going to be hard, but figure out a way. And he'd always say, like, Foreman's always figure it out. And obviously the best lesson he said, listen, don't make me come back here unless it's for a game. He said, if I got to come back here outside of a game, you ain't got to worry about Coach Osborne. And there was about one time that it was all
self-love.
Well, yeah, Chuck Foreman could raise the roof quick. Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's only had to jack me up once.
Well, what happened?
I got over my skis a little bit. I was getting recruited, so my head was probably about as big as this room, and I was only about 6'3", about 180, and it was an intense game. And he was trying to like talk to me about something, and I was disrespectful. I was like, man, like kind of just blew him off. And then he asked me about it, and then I doubled down on it because I thought it was big dog. And I had never seen my dad. See, I didn't know who my dad was until I pretty much started getting older. Because I always knew him as my dad, right? Mm-hmm. So I'd never seen him move that quick. You know what I mean? When I tell you he had me jacked up like this, and he was like, "You think you the man of the house?" My feet were dangling down. And if you ever remember my dad, he's like 6'3.5", 6'4". And I was like, no.
Yeah, he's a big running back.
Yeah, he's skinny now.
Yeah. So so
you had that high pitch voice.
Oh yeah, he had me like this, and he's like looking at me, and he's like, "You think you the man of the house?" And I was like, no. That is the only time when he came out to basketball one time, and I had been messing around and getting bad grades, and I was eligible or anything, and he took me out the basketball court.
Oh,
and he told the coach, he's like, he's eligible by your terms, but not by mine.
Wow.
And then that resonated with me forever.
Wow. Were you humiliated by that experience, or was it more just I've let my dad and myself down?
I mean, of course, the natural reaction is to be mad at him, but
But you thought about it.
After I thought about it, I was like, I was still mad, right? Because it's like, I am eligible, this is this, but he was like, the standard isn't the bare minimum. So he instilled it in me from a very young age. I didn't know it. And so those are the lessons that he always, taught me. I mean, they were, definitely hard on me, you know what I mean? But it wasn't demeaning. It was like, yo, you got to be the best teammate possible, and you got to work your tail off every single day. He never talked to me about all this other stuff or like the pros or anything like. Those are two basis things that he had for me, because he knew if I did those two things,
The rest would take care of it.
every rest would take care of it.
Do you do the same with your kids?
Try to. And the kids that I coach in basketball, I don't know whether they listen or not. That's where all this gray hair came from.
Coaching what's the
Coaching the kids
Yeah, basketball, yes. They're all in high school now, so I get to sit in the stands and be like all the parents that when I used to coach them and tell them that their coaches are bad. I don't do that. I respect all the coaches. I understand how hard it is, but it's good to see when kids go off to play in college and do some great things. And it's good to see when Nebraska does well. You wish them all the best. I always think I want them to win, probably more than they want to win, because learning how to win and what it takes and what it means is, it's better than anything they could probably think of.
Big deal. Big deal. It's funny. Slugs, you and I have been in a bunch of leadership seminars. We've had an array of people joining us. Business, sports, take your pick. These common threads, they just keep coming up. And it doesn't matter if you're a star athlete like the Foremans. It doesn't star athletes, excuse my grammar. Or star business guys like you, or star accounting students like Ginger. It's still the same common denominator. You got to want it. You got to work. You got to show up. And you got to be accountable to yourself and to your team.
So
beyond that, it's relatively simple.
I in business, I use a ton of sports parables because it's the same thing.
Right.
It's
same hard work, it's dedication, it's grit,
right,
and it's perseverance. And not everything comes out the way you want it.
No,
right?
Never does.
So you got to manage disappointment.
You have to manage disappointment, and you have to navigate through things. And I think that all those sports things, and I grew up playing sports and played sports through college, and I can't think of any better training grounds to be in business,
right? Yeah.
Or be in any aspect of life. So I think the parallels are.
Yeah, and that's why I'm pressing you a little bit on how you raise your kids, because every one of us, when you boil it down, the best gift you get as a parent is your kids become productive, contributing members of society.
The next best thing is you're 100% right, and we've had that happen. You've had that happen. The next best thing is to see them parent
the way you did.
The way
or the lessons
you tried to instill.
I'm not there yet.
So I'm a beneficiary of being a 5-time grandfather, and I see my daughters, regardless of how much angst we had with them and struggles we had with them, and we didn't think we were getting through to them, and you were worried about them and you're concerned. I see them parent, and it's so gratifying.
Yeah.
But these lessons, God, you kept beating and beating, and they paid off. And they're raising their kids the right way. And it gives you a great sense of joy and pride.
Yeah, I mean, I remember my dad telling me, he's like, when you start having kids, he's like, there's no love that you will understand than parent, child. You'll do anything for him. Yeah. I'm like, whatever, man. You just drop me the ball for the basketball. But, you think about it, some of the stuff that, they're telling you, and you're riding in cars, and you're probably like, again.
And then again, I'll tell you guys, and you guys will have the great fortune of doing this, is watching your children parent.
Yeah.
That gives you just the sense of joy as you go, gosh, all that hard work that you're putting in, that you put in, paid off, that your parents put in, and when they see
we're not sure
children,
it's paying off yet.
It does make a difference, and it makes you feel that you've done things the right way, and things are going to be okay.
Yeah, I remember one of my fondest memories with my dad is when I came down here, came down to Nebraska. So we're leaving, and
didn't you say he didn't know where it was on the map?
He knew where he. Well,
I'm insulting my dad. I don't need to do that.
It's two highways, so we're just chumming it up the whole way down. You know what I mean? And so we get to Council Bluffs, and when they have that sign, "Welcome to Nebraska."
Yeah.
So we're just listening to music, we're listening to sports or whatever, because we got to get down to Nebraska, that afternoon. And he turns down the radio. He's like, "Listen, here's the deal." And he just said, just laid it all the way down, and everything came true. He's like, you go and work as hard. He's like, he's like, you won't see it now. He's like, next thing you'll look up, you play a little bit, then you got to be better. It'll get harder. He's like, school will get harder, but it'll get easier once you learn how to time manage. He's like, you'll have relationships that you'll have when you're my age, so about the same age. And there I was like, all right, like, when's it gonna get done? I'm ready to go to college. I'm trying to see if I can kick it. But now it's like, it all comes to fruition. And,
It totally does.
And it's and he's been, when you've been through stuff and you're able to kind of pay it forward, it works out.
So funny. My dad, I remember him vividly saying one of the hardest parts of being a parent is not saying I told you so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably
And,
right.
the other side of it, he said, it's easy to be a parent because I remember my first kid. I was so intimidated. Like, I don't know the first thing about it.
Right.
He's like, all you got to do is show up. Your dad did. Your dad did. Your dad does. I mean, when you boil it down, and we're taking a different direction. But again, when there's so many common threads, it doesn't matter if you come. I mean, your dad should be in the NFL Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's getting there.
And he will be.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter what walk of life you come from, a dentist, pro football player, a man of all trades and accomplishments, an accountant. These common threads just keep coming through. So on that subject, going to totally switch gears. What was your best experience playing?
Oh, in college?
I don't care.
Man, my
Your
best experience.
What's your favorite, most memorable experience?
Favorite moment was when we beat Florida.
Oh, that was awesome.
In the locker room, and that locker room is so small, and the game was hot, and we annihilated them. And my fondest memory is that everybody, it was elation, and some guys still had their pads on, some guys still had their jock on. It was just like we did something that nobody thought we could do, and and we were the best team ever.
It wasn't relief, adulation. It was pure joy.
Joy. It was
because you
raw,
knew,
unadulterated joy. You were underdogs.
You knew.
Yeah. We knew.
You knew.
We knew. So we went out and just validated everything that we knew.
What was that?
We knew before we went down there.
Yeah, we were going to take names and kick ass.
So it was just a matter of doing it, and then when you do it, it's even better because we did it better than we thought we could.
Sam, that was one of the most surreal moments watching these guys.
Oh my God, it was so fun.
I'll never forget it.
It was on like Big Ten one time, like a replay I watched like recently, probably a couple months ago.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was a special night. It was a special group of guys. And that's you gotta have some luck. You gotta be great, and you got some great players.
You gotta make your own luck.
Yeah, a lot of great players that sacrifice individual accolades for the betterment of the team. And now look at it. It's like probably easily top 3 or 4 teams ever, and it's definitely not 3 or 4. I remember my uncle calling me up, and he's like, "You don't understand what you guys just did." He's like, "You're too young," and rightfully so, because I was like 19, 20.
So you're not 20
I think
years
I had
old?
a fake ID then. And he was like,
"Not that you would admit to."
Oh, I did. It was a great story.
Oh, it's an awesome.
This
story.
is the great thing this was so cool. So I had an older cousin, Craig, and so back then you could go get a Minnesota state ID with a birth certificate.
Okay.
So I'm back there. So now I'm smarter than everybody.
Sure,
you know what
you still are.
I'm gonna go back and see my dad during the summer, and take Craig's
Craig, let me borrow that birth certificate.
Oh yeah, $10. Here, let me get $10. He's like, make sure you bring it back. So I go.
Make sure you bring it back.
I'm nervous as heck, right? I'm gonna see, thinking, is this gonna work? Go up there, give it, take my picture, and then we'll send it to you. Now you can't forward it. So I got it coming. My dad calls me up. He's like, "Hey man," he's like, "You got this ID here." I was like, "Man, just send it down here." He's like, I'm trying to do something. So we end up, winning in '95. Now I'm a starter as a freshman. Got my mug up there, Jay Foreman, and I go down, and so then we win a national championship. But I got my fake ID. The fake ID comes like literally when we get back. So I'm downtown, and I might have worked one time, and I went in this. I was trying to get in this bar. The dude looked at it.
Which bar?
It was
the Brass Rail.
No,
in Lincoln.
It wasn't Brothers. It was, so if you go from Iguanas, walk across the street. It was right where the Jimmy John's is now, right there on the corner across from the The guy
like
wrote
by the
place.
State Theater?
It
No, it's like
it was one over. It was
Good.
Yaya's, and then they had the bar
Right,
next to it.
Yes, they had the bar by
They had the
Yaya.
bar.
So I tried to go in there.
Yeah.
The dude was like, Steve Draper?
What's
It's
his name?
funny. I've
was
seen
my
you on
cousin
TV.
What's his name?
Steve Draper. That's my cousin. So he's like, Steve Draper? I'm like, yeah. He's like, no, it's not. He's like, you're Jay Foreman. I just saw you in the national championship.
Oh,
He's like,
no.
I'm not going to turn you in. They were getting, what, $5 for like every idea.
That was
Oh, my
Dimitri
God.
Miras, I think. He started that bar right next door to Yaya's. He owned it. And
Who did?
Dimitri Miras,
I didn't.
Meares. His wife was Kimby, and I would imagine he
Got me $5.
Yeah,
You had to pay him $5, or they just get $5.
I think
for
the
taking
owners of the
The
bar gave
owners
us
got it
$5 for
for
every
sure.
idea.
They got
Beyond football, life beyond football at the University of Nebraska. Did you have a great experience of going to college?
Yeah, it was
What was your major?
business administration.
I thought you said wildlife.
Wildlife
I
management.
could-
Well, no, that was
I
after
can tell you
class.
what my major really was. I can't say it on
Wildlife management.
We're back to Jay in the
yeah,
hotel.
Yeah. So it was great, man. I came down here. You know, Nebraska didn't originally recruit me, and then I fell in love with it down here. Met lifelong friends, had great teammates, great recruiting class and got to meet a lot of people outside of like football. And you know, when they say, you know, go to a college where you can see yourself living, you know, it worked out for me.
So
Well, you
many
live here. I mean, it clearly worked
right.
out.
So
Yeah.
so many athletes who come here from
Right.
other places end up living here.
Yeah.
Why is that? Matt and I have grown up in
We
Lincoln.
grew up here,
We
Sam.
grew
I
up
mean,
here,
we're-
so
we're-
this is
Lincoln
home,
brats,
and
right.
I like it for a variety of reasons. But I'm curious why so many people love it here
Yeah.
once they get here.
I think you don't appreciate it when you're here. Because I was like, hey, I want to go to a big city when I get drafted.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate enough to play in every big city. Buffalo's about like Lincoln, but I played in Houston, New York, San Francisco, and
Sure.
obviously from Minneapolis. And you just the honest people, the hardworking people. Obviously being associated, you know, with the University of Nebraska helps out. But I just think it's a great place to, you know, have kids. It's a great place to live. It's centrally located. The people treat you fair.
So you had a great experience.
I had a great experience. I had a great experience. I mean, if there was a kid from anywhere, I would tell him once you come to Nebraska, you'll love it. It's bigger and it's way more stuff to do than when we were obviously.
Right.
Mhm.
And
So you met your wife here,
yeah, but not in college though.
and not in college.
Yeah, no, I was not. I was out and about in college.
You were. And yeah, I got that. I understand that. So you met her after?
Yeah,
After?
yeah, after college. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's
So
great,
when
man.
you came back.
Yeah, after retirement and I've been here for a little
So
while.
why did you choose to live in Lincoln? Back to
Well, because I was working with Midwest Holding and
Yeah.
going back and forth, and then I was, going down to Houston, and I just liked it. I just said, you know what, why keep satelliting it or whatever?
and you didn't ever have a inclination to go back to Minneapolis?
I had a place in Minneapolis.
Okay.
I just felt like it's a better home base from here. It's only 45-minute flight, 5-hour
Right.
drive. Was thinking about moving back to Houston, but I just started falling in love with Nebraska. I like the people here. I like my teammates here. I get, I will tell you the honest to God truth. After I retired, I hated football.
Okay.
I hated
because
football.
you were just burnt out on it, the grind.
It wasn't
The
that. I think
business of it?
the business of it, because you never get to retire on your own terms.
Right.
The NFL just retires you, and you don't
Yeah.
even know when it happens.
Yeah.
It's like you're an NFL player on Monday, you're retired on Tuesday.
You got a red check around you,
Right,
like
right.
a scarlet letter.
Right, but you don't know when it's coming. You don't know when that tattoo's gonna
All the
float.
personnel guys do.
They do, but
Right,
you don't.
they do.
Yeah, and so I hated football for a while, for a very long time, and then I started to kind of do some of that stuff, and then obviously you get back here, and I would tell you what, Bo Pelini obviously isn't the coach anymore, but Bo kind of knew I retired. Obviously, I played at San Francisco. He had coached out there,
Right.
and
Were
he
you
did.
coaching? Were you playing there when he coached it?
No, but he knew I played there,
Okay.
and
He's an interesting cat.
I asked him, to go to practice, and he called and talked to me or whatever, and that kind of sparked it. And then I started doing some media stuff, and then, I liked it. I had a place in Minneapolis. I was going back and forth. I was going into Houston, and then finally, I was talking to my mom and my dad one time, but more with my mom. And she's like, "You just need to settle down. You've got a good home base there. You did good while you were there. Started, had started to obviously start to really, make your rekindle friendships and start to feel comfortable. And then, obviously you start to wise up as well too.
Well,
You live it over.
Mo has such a visceral reaction in Nebraska, and I got to know him through PAG.
Yeah.
And she worked there and stuff. And,
And it's understandable. It's understandable.
it-
The way it is.
it
it is, but I think his heart was in the right place with
For
regard
sure.
to his players.
Oh,
Right.
for sure.
One of my
Absolutely.
best friends from college, his son started for him for a couple of years and played. And I will tell you, to a person, all the guys I met through
Right.
him would
They'd give their life for it. Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you what, for all the coaches that have came after Frank, Bo's like the little fluff that didn't bother me. Like, dude, come on. I mean, I grew up around that. But underneath that dude, he'll call you back. He'll talk football with you. And any coach that has that many players that he's had that much of a positive influence on you has done way more positive than negative.
100%.
Sure. Could he have been a little bit
More politic.
more like polished?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
But his heart was in the right
His
place.
heart was in the right
He
place.
cared, yeah.
He didn't manage the politics of coaching
No.
as well as he might have. But yeah, I mean, his
He
heart.
didn't manage the emotions, and he didn't manage the politics of
Yeah.
coaching.
But,
as
but
far
I
as
think
young men were
I
concerned,
think his team loved the fact that he didn't bother trying to manage.
I think he was a great molder of young people.
Yeah. Yeah. And he still keeps in contact with, from what I know. I think he was great. I think
Yeah.
he was good. I think as
I'm sorry he didn't get the outcome that we
No.
all hoped.
nobody does.
I mean, it's better than it's
Nobody,
been
right,
now.
right.
Well, that's true.
Nobody
It's
really
the,
does.
It's the impossible position.
Yeah.
But I will say, Frost, his hardest thing was going to be getting the guys lined up to haul the money in the wheelbarrow to the bank. He fucked it up. Excuse my language. But
Yeah,
that was a great opportunity, and it was the classic screw up, which means it really wasn't the great opportunity, but the disappointment.
In my
Resonates
mind, that will
more
go down as one of
profoundly.
the bigger mysteries of.
That's my point.
It'll be.
It truly is a
You'll
mystery.
never know the answer.
It's truly a mystery.
But you'll never. There's a lot of factors.
Yep.
That
There are.
didn't
We'll
work-
never
that
know.
worked. There was more factors that were working for him than against him.
Yep.
Yeah.
And hopefully at some point in time, I think the best thing that he could do, and he ain't gonna listen to me, but the best thing if I was him, I would mend a lot of fences with some of his former teammates and just you know what I mean? Because listen, at the end of the day, this guy's gonna have all the money in the world. He's got a great family. You can't deny that he's not a good dad or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get down the line, and I saw this with my dad and how close his teammates and him and him are.
To this day.
Oh, to this day, they're thick
yeah.
as thieves.
Wow.
That's
I mean,
awesome.
heck, our guys that I play with, we're thick as thieves. Like them or love them, I'll go to. Some guys I don't really care for, but if I'll go to bat for them without a doubt, and then worry about if I like you're not after. That's something that he'll always need.
I'd say
or should
70%
want.
of my associations with my friends, 30% are people I've known for long. Most of the acquaintances I have are either from my high school or my college team.
Yeah.
And good friends, or people that I've known for 50 plus years. And I met some
My whole
great,
life.
I've met some great new acquaintances, but there's something about a locker room that you cannot
You
describe.
cannot. That's what you. I don't.
You cannot describe what happened.
That's what you miss the most.
I do.
All right, that's what I miss the most. I mean, obviously, I like to compete. Obviously, physically, I can't do it, so I can't miss football. I miss the things about football, but I miss the locker room. There's a dude named Gary Walker that I played with in Houston. I miss him to this day. I mean, he's still alive, but he lives. He's a pig farmer down in Alabama.
Wow.
Alabama.
So what do you miss about him?
Yeah.
Because that dude, he he's cheap though, but he was like Bo. He was rough around their edges, but once you
Got through.
earned his respect, and then he gave you respect. He's one of the best dudes I played with. Seth Payne too, one of the best dudes. Ted Washington, Mount Washington, I played with in Buffalo,
Washington.
who helped me get their work because he took the lineman off of me. Is one of the solidest dudes I ever been with or played with. Best teammates.
You had to have a tackle with an ass that wide,
Yeah.
didn't you?
Yeah, and
So they wouldn't get
Otherwise known as a double
and
wide.
you would be in the locker room and they would rib you or whatever, and then but it was all up. But just being in there, practice would be over. You lifted weights, you watch your tape, and you're just in there just learning about who they are. I mean, Chad Stanley, who was a punter, was probably the farthest from me possible. The way he's from like Podunk, Texas, but we were locker mates for 3 years. In
Oh
Houston.
wow, really?
You know, I mean, locker right next to each other.
Right.
So you see each other pretty much naked. You're gonna become, hey man, you know, you learn about each other's family and all that stuff. I mean, the locker room is a different environment. And I think that's what guys miss the most, because it's like being a doctor. That's your family. For when you play football, especially even in college now, you know, from 5 a.m., give or take an hour, to 8 or 9 o'clock at night all year, that's who you're with.
Yeah.
So you better learn how to tolerate guys that you necessarily don't care for, and love the guys that you really care for, and be there for them.
And celebrate your teammates.
Right. You got to be as happy as for them as you are for
any
yourself.
team, there's cast-offs, right?
Sure.
100%.
I mean, there's fucking guys who don't fit.
Right, but you love them the same.
You do.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
They're the grinders.
But the guys, you got some odd ducks, but that's my odd duck.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We have
Mine.
Sam, our odd duck.
Oh, yeah.
Freaking
He
Ginger.
might be an asshole, but he's my asshole.
That's the deal. Straight up.
Gee.
Not you, Sam.
Hey, Sam.
Don't
they're
tell
an
your
asshole,
mother.
but they have my asshole.
Yeah, the deal
You
is
stay away
You
from
keep
my
your
asshole.
lips off
You
my
keep your lips
golfer.
off my golfer.
The deal is though that like when we would go against the offense, like we would try to beat the crap out of them. They would do us. We'd fight them, but damn it, nobody else would. We would not allow it. And
You
so
would
that's
not. You would be the first on the field.
first on the field,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so that's you know, that's what you wish for kids these days to experience, just because it's pretty special. I mean, when I see Octavius McFarland, that was my linebacker, man. We just get right back to it. Ain't nothing changed. We're gonna get right back to it, just like we were in college.
So tell the story about you, Tavy, Warfield, Peters down there at Dormy in San Antonio.
I wasn't there.
I thought you were there.
I wasn't there. I was here. It was during the spring game, and Tavy, it was a Bull.
Yeah,
Texas,
oh, yeah,
Texas
yeah,
Bulls.
I saw that. I
Down
saw
there.
that.
We were down there in San
We were
Antonio.
Yeah,
down there.
so-
We saw the ball.
Oh yeah,
You
I
saw the
pictures.
video.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Paul Tavy goes
Goes
the
to mess
horn.
with
I
the
saw
Bull.
it. I
He
saw
messed
the
with the
video.
bull. He got the horn.
Got the horn. I told him that was stronger than any
You mess with
fullback
the
he
ball,
would've
you
did.
get the horn, right?
Yeah, he
Oh,
did.
my
He
God.
literally did, and
And Tavy's not a small man.
yeah, he took it like a champ though.
He
He didn't whine.
Oh
No,
no, Tavy's
no,
pretty
no,
tough.
no.
He's tough. He's
He's
dude.
tough.
Yeah,
It was like, damn, Tavy.
yeah, yeah.
That video is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's you know, but those are the guys. I mean, Tavy's from Bastrop, Texas. You know, I'm from coming from Minnesota. You know, I'm pretty close with Jason Peter. He's from Jersey. I mean, that's the great thing about football. You bring all these guys together from different walks of life, family backgrounds, and whatever, and you get in there, and we in it to win it.
Yeah.
And it's do or die. And every day, you know, that's the great thing about it. But I know college has changed.
Was the pros the same as
No.
college?
The Crows were. I'm gonna tell you what. You want to hear the truth about the
Yeah.
Crows?
Let's hear it.
You build this thing. I mean, this is just for me, and I shouldn't have thought. And I was a ball boy, you know, so I was able to be in the meetings with the Vikings and stuff. But I was just so young. I was happy to get some money, you know. What I mean?
Right.
So you go to Nebraska. You got great coaches, great teammates, and you win.
Great
You know,
fans.
everybody, and it's win, and be the best teammate and player. So you think the same thing is in the pros. Now, I was fortunate enough to go to Buffalo, but when you start to go around different organizations, they ain't trying to win.
So you mentioned.
Wait.
They're not trying to win.
But
They're not trying to win. So
You know what they're doing?
They're trying to
on
get
Friday is Halloween. There's 22 teams out of the 32 or 30 or whatever 32 teams that are playing dress up. There's about 10 of them every year trying to win, and it's hard because you're in there and you're playing, and they're making moves that you're not going to win.
So
Like the
what's
Cleveland
the
Browns.
difference? So why would you own a team? Okay, you mentioned nobody goes to the Jets. I mean, Jets are kind of a laughing stock.
Yeah, I go to
And the
Jets if
Browns.
there. I play for anybody that was paying. Jets want me. Hey, I got a couple plays left. The
That-
first and the
yes,
last.
you do.
The
You-
first and the
you
last.
got a couple
First and the
moves.
last. I got the first and the last play.
So
Don't let
those
the gray hair fool you.
organizations, what is their? I mean, from the ownership to the GM to the what is their? I mean, god dang, owning a sports team.
It's the best investment out there.
Debits and credits.
It's the best investment out there.
It's the best.
When you mark to market, my God, the
It's-
value of
it's-
the franchise is unbelievable.
But I'll think of the Ricketts family who owned the Cubs. So they bought the Cubs. Maybe I have zero idea. But then they scaled up and they got the best players and they won a World Series.
Mm.
They hadn't won
For
a
the
World
first time in
Series in
100 years.
right? So the winning
has value.
has value. So why wouldn't you try to win? Because that value, that's exponential.
It is.
I think it goes to Jay's comment earlier. I mean, the whole thing I have heard from this whole conversation, Jay, to this day, it's palpable. You love football.
Yeah.
You said it early on. You can't like football. You got to love it. Somewhere in there,
it's missed in the pros.
In the pros,
Yeah.
I love the money, not the game.
Yeah, or they like the fame and all that. But
Or
when you
the
got to think
fame,
about
or
it,
the
like
fans, or whatever.
if you're an owner of the team, like Cleveland, that's always going to, the tickets.
Jimmy Haslett, who owns Pilot.
Right.
The
Jimmy
convenience
Haslett
stores.
owns. No.
You're getting league money from the TV
Right,
contract.
right.
So
Billions
you're
of
getting
dollars.
right. You're getting subsidized there,
Right.
and then you got great fans.
Yep.
No matter what
Cleveland's
product,
Cleveland, right?
Whatever you put on the field, right?
They're going to show up.
So
They're
really,
going to buy swag.
They're going to be bummed out because you're a loser.
So really, they're no different.
But let's just think from an economic standpoint. We own the Cleveland Browns.
Right.
If we won the Super Bowl,
oh
do you
my
know
God.
what that friggin'
it would be.
Yeah.
It'd be like when the
Cavs
Cavs.
franchise would be.
the bedrock of pro football.
Yeah, it would be. But they're making a ton of money right now just being average.
They're not even
average.
And here's the.
By the way, they do live on Lake Erie.
Here's also the biggest issue
Mistake by the
is
way.
they're not 32 franchise quarterbacks, and you're not going
You're
to
right,
win. You're
you're
not going
right.
to win a Super Bowl without a franchise quarterback.
You're
and
right.
You miss on that.
So who were your
What's there?
quarterbacks when you played? List them.
Flutie Flakes, Doug Flutie.
Okay.
Flutie Flakes.
Not a franchise
right,
quarterback.
and
Great
right.
college quarterback.
Yeah, but he was great when I was there.
Yeah.
And Rob Johnson, and then I went to Houston and was David Carr.
David Carr. I
and
thought he was underrated, and I thought he got the shit beat out of him.
he did. The biggest thing I wish for David, first of all, hopefully David sees it. He's the most solid dude out there. I'm telling you, he's a great,
good-looking guy.
Yeah, he
Could
is.
be a model.
Yeah, he is, and he's always been.
What's what they say about Jay?
Family good looking, and his dad was cool as a fan. I love when his dad would come in, and Derek would come in and do the quarter. I'd love talking to his dad. His dad was a 5-time California long drive champ, and I would just talk to him.
Oh,
And he's like a surfer dude, kind of looks like a surfer dude, real good shape. The one thing I wish for David is that he had what I was able to have when I was a rookie, is a veteran to show you how to be a pro. They turned the keys over to him. He came from Fresno.
Right.
He had a great family. Melody's great, and great. He's a great dad and all that. And he's doing well. He's on TV, which is great. But he never had a chance. He never really had a realistic chance to be that guy. And then he finally got to New York, and he played behind Eli. Won a couple of Super Bowls. I ran into him down when he was playing at Carolina as a backup quarterback and did well. I just hated for him because he had talent. He had everybody. He didn't have the cash run.
Crap beat out of him. I was a big Carr fan down in Houston.
Yeah.
That offensive line didn't do
76 sacks, and he's a rookie. And also you're playing against Peyton Manning at that time, right? When he was at his height.
Yep.
Martin Brunell at his height at Jackson.
I forgot about
and then
Brunell. Wow.
And then Steve McNair.
Yeah.
In those teams, all three of those teams were playoff teams, were great teams. So it was hard to but he battled through it and he did well.
So when you go back, you said you had a mentor to show you how to be a pro.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It was Sam Cowart, which was crazy because he was just a year older, and John Hollisack, who was there are two older linebackers. They just they taught me about saving your money. They taught me about work. Look, don't if you have after a game you have to 2:00 to get your workout in. Get your workout in, get your film in, get your treatment in, get your another workout in, get your pre-film in for the next game. So they taught me how to time manage when you're essentially in Buffalo on your own with a little bit of money in your pocket and a lot of free time. And then also they taught me how to make the team. I remember John gave me a ride home from my first true mini camp. And he's like, I was a 5th round pick and he had just got his contract redone. He's like, this is how you can make the team. And he laid it out.
And you listened. You were smart enough to listen.
And because you're desperate. I was a late 5th round draft choice. I was like, so I was blessed that David didn't have that. They just really gave it to David, and rightfully so. He's the number 1 pick, is the expansion franchise. But they cut Kent Graham, who was 10 years in the league, came in from and he wasn't going to start. But if you had Kent there to teach David how to watch tape, when to show up, you got to be the first one in, last one gone, no matter what.
From a leadership standpoint.
Right. I remember talking to David one time, and he was in his second year, and I already been 6 years. I said, "Listen, David, when I get here, you're not here, and when I leave, you ain't here." And he's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "You're the quarterback. You got to be the first one here, and you have to be the last one to leave." And then once he got it, it's gone.
So,
Wow.
Yeah. Lead from the front.
Yeah.
Lead from the front.
But when you're 22 years old, I think he just got married. When I got to Houston, I'm 5 years in. I went through it. You know, I mean, I'm trying to, get it.
Right.
And I went through what he's doing. And so to have somebody there, you wish he had somebody there to teach him the ropes, maybe play a little bit, take some of the hits off him. Because I think those sacks really skewed his quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You get a little gun shy.
Well, because you don't know any
How
better.
would you not?
Dang.
You don't
You
know.
know, you're scrambling for your
You
life.
get the crap beat out of
Yeah.
You think of some of this. I mean, think of Jason Peter in his prime. You have that bearing down on you
Listen,
from the
dude.
blind slide. Let me just tell you, I'd die of fright.
it. So, did you watch the Netflix series Quarterback?
Yeah.
It's a good show.
Oh man, I got a newfound respect for Kirk Cousins.
Don't you?
Yeah, I
After
do.
that?
I love
after that,
ever
man.
since
Did you
watching
see that?
Ever since watching that, Kirk Cousins is one of my favorite.
Well, I tell you what, the first iteration of quarterbacks with Mariota and Mahomes and Kirk Cousins.
Yep.
I tell you what.
Yeah. And you
That
know
was
why
a great
Patrick
show.
Mahomes is the best? He's working
He works hard
on
all the
Monday.
time.
Like when everybody else is hanging out,
Partying
he's
and
working.
hanging out, he's working.
And I hate it for Kirk Cousins. So I used to always like, man, he's getting paid so much, this, and this. But getting hurt and then laying it on the line and then them using the injury again, I hate it for him. And you know who else they did that to? Was Baker Mayfield when he was in Cleveland. Remember, he had a torn labrum.
Yeah.
And then they were like, yeah, he don't have his arm strength is bad.
Yeah, like
And
he's
then
a bitch.
And then he bounced around the league. And
I'm
now
so
look at
happy for him.
Yeah.
He's
Because-
also one of my favorite players. He's just so tough.
Well, he's the ultimate. So I look at you mentioned football, the gladiator sport, right? There's quarterbacks who are quarterbacks and there's quarterbacks who are football players.
Yeah, he's a football player.
Baker Mayfield's a football player.
Yes,
Played
he
quarterback.
is.
Would you agree?
Yeah. You want to know a little secret about Baker? You need to tag Baker. He owes me a little money though.
Uh-oh.
From golf gambling?
No, not from that. Every time I've taken a picture with Baker, he's gotten paid.
What?
Every time.
Hey,
Well,
We
it's 'cause
should.
You're
Because
good
of
luck.
I need a
it's
clip
I'm a
of
because
good
this.
luck
Jay-
charm. I need a little bit. I'm your handler.
I should.
You want to read right?
I should clip this.
Tag Baker Mayfield.
I should clip this video and
So
tag
before the
Baker.
draft, he probably was going number one. He
Yeah.
was up in Minneapolis, took a picture with him, got drafted
Number
number
one.
one.
Number one.
Went down to Vegas, saw him, got paid at Tampa. Baker, if you listen, I need to give you just a little something.
I should clip this.
His
and
wife
post it.
is from
He's
Waverly.
a football
Waverly,
player who
Nebraska?
played quarterback.
No.
I love
Yeah,
the
he's
way he
from
plays
Waverly.
quarterback.
Baker's from
Yeah.
Waverly?
Yeah, he's competitive too.
Yeah,
He's competitive.
Yeah.
He's competitive. I like it.
deal.
He's
Hey
competitive.
Sam, what's our time? How long have we been going?
going.
Hour 13.
Oh, shit.
Do
I
you
know
only
you two
you
haven't.
only get to do an hour?
Well, no. Sam told us we could only go 30 to 40 minutes. But
I didn't say
it
that.
got weird.
You can
too.
listen to this.
You got a nice setup here.
I'm ready
We
to
just
keep
need move
going.
that camera to the left, and then we could watch some football.
Well,
we could do after
eventually
dark.
we're going to turn that thing on.
Thursday night, right? No, what is tonight? Tuesday?
This Tuesday.
It's
Oh,
mad.
I
We
lose
could
track.
get it.
Retired guy lose track of time.
Well, funny how that happens. By the way, you boys want nipples for that, so you can
No.
wrestle some more?
Oh my gosh.
I will say that listening to you guys and listening to Sam, we're all beneficiaries of great parenting.
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. But
And there's so much value in that.
you're always fortunate. It's my dad and then my mom. She's the most competitive person out there. My mom's ruthless.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Where's Cindy, your mom?
And she still lives in D.C.?
No, she's in Vegas now.
Really?
So she but hey, when you talk about hey, when you
So
talk
when
about
when she comes to visit, we want your mom on God Bless America. And by the way, you're welcome to visit, but you are not on with her.
We
you might be on-
we all talk about our dads, and they were so influential in our life. But our moms were the shit. I know.
Oh
your
my
mom-
God.
My mom
My
was the
mom's
toughest
93
woman on
and
the
she'll
world.
take names and kick ass.
Yeah,
She's
I was
been outlived
fortunate.
me.
Yeah, very fortunate to have two great parents, and then like the uncles and everything like that. I was very fortunate.
we're very fortunate to have all that support system.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I wouldn't be here without him.
None of us would.
So you're very fortunate. That's why I try to do whatever I can for athletes or anything, because I know how hard it is.
There's a lot of athletes who don't have the benefit of the parenting that we had.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing. You always you want to be appreciative, and if I could ever give back to an athlete to help a kid to try to make it, because you just never know.
Well, that's just it. You never know.
The best compliment I ever got. You want to hear the best compliment I ever got?
Yeah.
And I know we gotta go. I was traveling from the Minneapolis airport, so I was actually flying to Charlotte, and a guy comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, you Jay Foreman," and it's like,
no, I'm Steve. Check out my fake ID.
It's like 7:00 in the morning, and I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" He's like, "Hey, man, I gotta tell you." He's like, "Well, I reffed all your games in high school." He's like, "I never thought, that you would make it this far." And it wasn't a negative. Hold on, it wasn't a negative.
Wow, I love it.
He's like, "I want to commend you on the work that you put in to get there." He's like, "I followed every step of the way." Because I was underdeveloped or whatever. I didn't take it negative. He's like, he explained himself, but it's the best compliment because he saw where I was.
Potential.
Right.
But he saw where you were.
And then he was like, to get where you're at, dude, you had to really put in some work. And I had to put in some work. That's the best compliment you get.
Well, it is. But I know that's also one of the things you communicate. You got to put in the work.
Yeah.
You can't go naked head without putting in the work.
No.
Yeah.
No, you can't go veins. It's I mean.
Cut it, Sam.
Yeah.
We're done.
I don't know what that means.
Just cut
We
it.
don't know what that means.
I'll cut it out.
Explain it to your mother.
Yeah.
No,
We need to keep Sam pure. How old are you, Sam? Sam, what are you, 20?
Don't
I'm
blush.
20.
You're not on camera.
I'm not even
She's got
blushing.
his whole life.
I'm on
Yeah.
camera.
You know how much she's learning from us?
Oh my God.
Would you
The
tell me?
wisdom download is
you
incredible.
need to listen to everything these dudes are saying.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
heard it here.
Well,
Sam.
some things Matt says I don't want to listen.
Gray hair is wisdom,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
life
I mean,
experiences.
And what do we tell our kids? Wisdom. I have that. It's called knowledge derived from heavy tuition, the school of hard knocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, wisdom is better than being smart.
Yes, it is.
No,
There's a lot of smart
100%.
people that are failures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is. And
All right.
It's true.
You guys need to get going.
Jay, thank
it's
you,
good
buddy.
for us, right? Yeah.
Thanks, Jay.
Yeah.
Jay,
That was
thank you.
fun.
Yeah,
It
man.
is always a pleasure.
Yeah, man.
You're welcome
Yeah.
back
I
anytime.
like the new setup though, man.
Oh, I know.
This
Like
is-
this cool.
Yeah.
You like the tandem?
Yeah.
We got
Yeah.
the round of
You know,
table.
you get tired of listening to Matt.
Yeah, all right.
By the way, guys, you want nipples for that so you can nurse it some more?
Say goodnight, Dave.
Listen,
All
Good
right.
night, Dave.
If it
Good
isn't-
night, Sam.
if it isn't
You're done.
Fireball,
Yeah,
you know,
shit.
Finish those off. We'll go have a little refresher, boys.
All right. Well,
Thank you for being on
Yeah.
God Bless America. Once again, thank you to
Yeah,
Jay
appreciate you
Foreman,
for
our
having
good
me, man.
friend. Sleggs,
Yeah.
glad to be here. Sam, glad to have you.
Yeah.
Tune in. Where are we tuning in, Sam? We got to watch. We went
YouTube.
from 9 to 10 followers.
No,
things are
we
looking
got
up.
about like 205 followers. I think.
Holy
Alright,
buckets.
holy cow.
Things are working.
Yeah.
And of course, that would imply that
Tag
194 of those
Baker
came from
Mayfield.
Jay Foreman.
Yeah, I need to. I'll clip
Baker
that.
Mayfield would be like, "Who is this dude?" Yeah.
You think he know? He
Yeah,
probably
I
knows
mean,
who you
yeah,
are.
yeah, he
Make
knows
sure
who
when you do it, we have Jay doing this. Can you get a picture of that?
Yeah, do you have the picture with him still?
We'll pay you.
Playing football or football players playing quarterback. There's a difference.
Yeah, he is.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
a dude. I
He's
mean,
a dude.
I
He's a
like
dude.
watching. Yeah, I
Yeah,
like it. I like his
He'll
swag.
stick a
The
nose
thing
in
is, that's who he is, though. He's not fake.
Oh, I love
That's
that.
who he is.
I think
You
Camp
can tell
Scatterboo,
there.
he's like that too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
from
from
Waverly.
Waverly,
We talked.
No,
Slaves,
she's from
you got
Fremont.
turn on your hearing aid.
Omaha?
She's from Waverly. We already talked about it.
Is she
No.
from Waverly or
No.
She's from
Oh, no.
Nebraska. It's all
Shut
right.
his microphone
She went to
off. This is getting
Elkhorn.
bad.
Oh my
Stop
God.
it.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
I thought you
Well,
said Waverly.
well, at the end of the day, she's from Nebraska. That's all.
Eastern Nebraska.
Yeah. Somewhere.
What?
Somewhere.
Joe
That's all.
Biden? What? You're Joe Biden? You're
Hey,
doing this
Hey,
shit?
That's
so-
just
hey,
getting
look,
us started.
Hey, look, she's from somewhere on 8 off of
So
80.
his
Yeah.
so Baker's Mayfield's mother-in-law
hmm
was roommates with my ex-wife in college.
What?
Ruthie, Lori Mae,
With D?
D.
No.
He knows
shit.
my word.
No kidding. Excuse my language.
Wow.
They lived at 26th and Garfield, 4 Alpha Phi's. Lori Mae was an Alpha Phi,
All for free.
and that is.
Oh my gosh.
That is
What?
That is Baker Mayfield's
I never heard that.
mother.
Wow.
How's that?
As usual. It's Nebraska. You can't swing a
No,
dead
you
cat.
can't swing a dead cat without fucking connecting.
Hey.
Right?
All right.
Okay.
Well,
Cut the
When
mic.
Dave
Don't
has
cut
to
the
pee,
mic.
hey, shut her off.